We are really honored today to have these young people with us. They are finalists in what's used to be called the Intel Science Talent Search. Now it's the Regeneron Science Talent Search. And before that, it was known as the Westinghouse Science Talent Search. I think that's when I was your age, way in the dark ages. Despite the change in sponsors and names since 1942, it's still the nation's oldest and most prestigious science competition. So today we have with us Sarah Gao, David Wu, Alice Zhang from Montgomery, Blair, and we already honored, but also a finalist is Andrew Como, who got the grand prize for the Siemens competition earlier this year. But he obviously had other important obligations today. These students are selected based on their scientific research and their overall potential as future leaders of the scientific community. And aren't we proud Montgomery County is going to be well represented going into the future? This year, 14 students from MCPS were named among the 300 scholars, and from that group, 40 national finalists were chosen for students at Montgomery Blair. 1,800 students initially applied nationwide. That's out of 1,800 really, really, really talented kids. Each of the finalists received a $25,000 prize, and David Wu received an additional $90,000 award for 5th place. So way to go, David. This is an enormous achievement for these students, but also for their parents, teachers, and professional mentors, and certainly a tribute to Blair and Ms. Johnson, who's been kind enough to join us today, who's having a great time celebrating her student success, I understand. But they all deserve our congratulations and really our just excitement that you are our future, and here you are here in Montgomery County. So let me turn to my colleagues to make some comments.
Mr. Chair.
They elbowed their way in.
Well, that's true. Anytime I get to sing the praises of fellow Blazers, it's always a great opportunity. Let me just start off by saying congratulations to these young people. And one of the things that I continue to say as chair of the Education Committee as I have an opportunity to talk to students throughout Montgomery County is about how impressive it is to go beyond being a student, to take yourself to the next level and challenge yourself beyond the academia that currently exists within your school, to say, I'm going to take it to the next level and challenge myself, and to take my competition, my competitive skills and really try and compete with folks on a national level. It also talks about the quality of Montgomery County Public Schools and the education that we provide. It's a testament to our great teachers, our great faculty, our administrators, who do a phenomenal job of making sure that each of our children has opportunities that are limitless. And this is a great example. When we give children the opportunity to excel, give them the opportunities to push themselves and the resources behind them to make it happen, there's so much that they can accomplish. I mean, I'll just read you one of the projects. David Wu's was the non-uniform distributions of patterns of sequences of primes in prime moduli.
Okay, let's explain that.
So basically what that means is that there's a non-uniform distribution of those patterns of sequences of primes that happen within prime moduli. You got it, right? You got it. I just wanted to make sure we were clear. I mean, this is, again, and it really is one of those where when we give our students an opportunity to really take their thoughts and take their minds to another level, they'll do it. And it's all of our kids. And so we have to make sure that, just like our superintendent, Jack Smith, says, all means all. And there are so many other children that are out there who can do the same kinds of things as these students are doing, and they're shining examples of the talent that we have within our Montgomery County Public Schools. And so I encourage you to continue to be leaders, because that's exactly what you are, leaders and examples for all of the other MCPS students on how they can continue to be successful and push themselves to new heights and new limits. So congratulations to all three of you, and congratulations to Principal Renee Johnson for continuing to foster in an environment that allows your students and supports your students in excelling.
Well said. Well, I think at this point everything's been said, but it feels like as your local council member representing Silver Spring and Blair High School, I just want to say how proud I am. It feels like not a month goes by when we're not announcing the winners of some national competition here is being won, but not just by our MCPS students, but by our Blair High School students in particular. So I think that's really a tribute to each of you and to your parents and to Ms. Johnson and our fabulous educators, but also to all the taxpayers in Montgomery County and all the great school system employees, because no one succeeds on their own, and this is a group effort, and to have Montgomery County and these students recognized this way is really a tribute to the whole county. So congratulations on all your accomplishments.
Well, isn't that all the truth? So I've assigned the students the very impossible job of translating whatever their project was into terms that the county council can understand. Sarah, you want to come on down and tell us, really quickly what your project involved?
Yeah, of course. So my project concerns antibiotic resistance, which is currently a growing problem. There are a lot of bacteria that are now resistant to the common antibiotics that we use. So in terms of an alternative treatment, I looked towards bacteriophage, which are viruses that can kill bacteria. And I found 3 of these new viruses. And since I sing, I named them soprano gal, mezzo gal, and alto gal, after the female voice rangers and my last name. And and then I isolated their proteins, and I found that when you directly apply these proteins to the outside of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, you can effectively kill them.
All right.
Wow.
All right. So we have found the resolution of our antibiotic problem out there.
Perhaps.
Maybe. So, come on down next, Sarah. Alice?
Hi. So what I did was I applied computer science to solving a problem that I think everyone can relate to. It was the problem of regulating traffic intersections more efficiently.
You've got
and
a
fairly.
future.
You're hired.
John, okay.
So
You're out here.
So what I did was I represented this problem as a problem in something called graph theory, which is kind of a concept in math and computer science. And by writing an algorithm to solve this graph theory problem, I applied it back to the traffic intersection so that we can maximize efficiency for any given situation.
Wow. So I guess it was a good idea to put Blair High School in the middle of the most congested intersection in Montgomery County. Way to go. Way to go. Boy, this is practical stuff. David.
Sorry. I guess there was already an attempted explanation, but hopefully I can explain a little bit more.
That was Mr. Rice.
Yeah.
There may be more to it. Are you suggesting?
Yeah, maybe. Basically, mathematicians are really interested in a special type of number called prime numbers, and they're important because
It doesn't have to do with Amazon?
yeah. So basically, there are special type of numbers that actually are really critical to analyzing sort of the properties of numbers in general. So mathematicians care a lot about prime numbers. Since antiquity, there have been a lot of questions about how prime numbers behave because they might seem sort of mystical, or what are the patterns in them. So mathematicians have been really curious about them for a really long time. Essentially, what I was looking at was a specific type of pattern that seemed to be behaving quite unexpectedly. So, if you looked at the simple case, then the pattern behaved sort of as you would expect. But then when you looked at more and more complex patterns, it sort of that sort of nice behavior went away. And the mathematicians didn't really have an explanation for this for a really long time. My project really just went back into a sort of explanation that someone proposed, but wasn't totally complete or rigorous. And I went back and I completed that. Actually being able to explain why this sort of strange behavior was occurring.
Good to know. All right. Excellent. Well, let me, we have proclamations for each of you. So here you go. And let me start reading it, and then my colleagues can join me. Let's my glasses on. Whereas Montgomery Blair High School students Sarah Gao, Andrew Como, David Wu, and Alice Zhang were named 4 of the 40 finalists in the prestigious Regeneron Science Talent Search competition, completing for top honors at a high-profile event in Washington, D.C., and next one down.
Whereas the Regeneron Science Talent Search, the nation's oldest and most prestigious pre-college science competition, honors exceptional high school seniors across the country for their scientific research and for their potential as future leaders in the scientific community. And
Whereas in her project, oh great, I get this one. Whereas in her project, developing phage indolysins? Indolysins. See, I knew I was going to mess it up. Phage indolysins as novel therapeutics for multi-drug resistant bacterial infections. Sarah Gao identified enzymes that may contribute to improved therapeutics for antibiotic resistant gram-negative bacterial infections. And whereas
In his project, cryptographically secure proxy bidding and ascending clock auctions. This is Andrew. Andrew Como developed a coded system that can be used to protect large-scale online auctions from serious threats, such as cheating and fraud. And whereas
thanks. Whereas in his 5th place award project, Non-Uniform Distributions of Patterns of Sequences of Primes and Prime Moduli, David Xing Wu improved current methods for gathering data on prime number patterns, which could impact cryptography and cybersecurity and potentially make future work on prime number patterns more productive. And
okay. Whereas in her project, a dynamic programming algorithm for minimizing delays in traffic intersections, which you better copyright immediately, Alice Zhang created a traffic signal protocol to speed the flow of cars and trucks driving through intersections. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby honors, and we congratulate Sarah Gao, Andrew Como, David Wu, and Alice Zhang for being named among the nation's most promising young scientists. Presented the 17th day of April in the year 2018, signed by our Council President, Hans Riemer. So, way to go, guys. Lucky Princeton, lucky MIT. We are very honored that you're going to be going there. And with that, we'll have a formal picture.